Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Dead Knitter Society. My name is Mira. This is the Knitting and Grieving podcast, and you have reached my little corner of the internet where grief and fiber arts intersect. So I wanted to give you a recap on my afternoon at the Fiber Revival Fiber Festival, which was held this Saturday, August 16th. In Newbury, Massachusetts at the Spencer Pierce Little Farm, which is like a historic farm site. They had sheeps. I am going to cut in here and give you just a little video snippet and some pictures of kind of the layout. So you can see that they have a collection of various animals, sheep, whatnot. They are connected with a local MSPCA in our area. And then they had the vendors area. There were tents where people were sitting and spinning underneath them, which was really lovely. Bella and I did our shopping and then sat down. You can see the farmhouse, which is really beautiful, and the vendor area again, and another shot of my view from spinning. So now that we've looked at that, it was definitely smaller. The people who we ended up sitting and chatting with said that pre-COVID, it was like vendors everywhere. But again, Fiber Revival, so hopefully it seemed well attended. The vendors were great. Some new vendors to me. Toil and Trouble was there. I should say I am wearing, this is my lounging top by Hoagie Locatelli, and the yarn is Toil and Trouble. This is their merino sock. And I got some of their goodies. I'm excited about that. It was really cool. I was super nervous, but after we had kind of gone through the vendor spaces, Bella, so my daughter and I went, and Bella and I sat down next to, there was just under a big tent,
just
so many people spinning.
I wish that I had gotten
and I was like
a picture from far away.
Spun my first skein of yarn this week.
To include people
ever.
Who didn't consent to
and they were like,
and
"Oh,
lots
baby!"
Of feet and children.
So I got some good tips, and there's a kind of a monthly meeting that's sort of close to me, close enough that definitely when it's not ski season, I'm going to try to make it there. But I also saw that one of my Toil and Trouble is going to be at the Boston Fiber Festival, which is in a few weeks. And so Bella and I have made plans to attend that on the Sunday. Definitely a larger fiber festival. But it was really awesome to be in community with other crafters, and to get to meet people who are experienced spinners in person. I really feel like after COVID, at least in this part of the country, our lives changed a lot. And so relearning to be out in community and to like make plans to leave your house became a bit of a perishable skill. So it was really awesome to be with people. So that was really cool. So I'm gonna pop a picture of my haul up there. I hope it's up there. But let me show you some of the fun stuff that I got. Oh, and hold on, stand by. Because I forgot one of them. Okay, so I got a couple new project bags. This is, I need my glasses to read the label. Fuck yeah, 40s. Stitched by Jessalu, who was a delight. I have a couple of her other bags, but I never got to meet her before. This one is Smog from The Hobbit. We nerded out about Lord of the Rings. So I love this, and even the interior fabric is all like books. It's just beautiful. I love it. So that, and then, hi Margie. I also picked up Salty Language Ahead. I'm a fucking ray of sunshine to go with my Eat a Bag of Dicks bag. So love that. It's, you know, how we stay subversive. I also got a new Nitty Naughty. I haven't put it together, but the one that I have is only a yard. This is a 2 yard. And when I made up my skein, the 1 yard was a lot of width and it was hard to keep it untangled. By the way, y'all, this is my yarn. Here, we're gonna take a pause on the haul recap. So it is wildly overspun in a lot of places. And this is like a Brillo pad. One of the things that I learned when I was sitting with new fiber friends was that I was running my treadle on the spinning wheel rather than walking it. And I am a runner, and I also speed up when I get nervous. So anytime I lose control of my fiber, I think I speed up, and then you get that really overspun stuff. But some of it is actually kind of nice and bouncy. This is so ugly. I washed it, I dried it. I still probably need to thwack it and then measure it and roll it into a ball. But I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. I can't even tell you. And my cat loves all of the string that's coming out. Where were we? Nitty Naughty. Got a new Nitty Naughty so that I can actually make slightly larger skeins. Where's my bag of goodies? One of the tips that I was given was also this was just very plain, a big pound of gray Corriedale, undyed, not fancy, because I was I have to earn the fancy. And one of the things that they said was, use the good stuff now. And I remember being at that phase in my knitting journey too, when it was, yarn is expensive. But if you don't have great joy in your material, it is harder to continue on, right? So I did. I'm not done. Here's the other half of this little ounce of fiber, but I pulled out some of the really pretty fiber that I have. And this already, this was after I oiled my wheel and then slowed down. And it's getting better. There's a little bit of overspin, but I'm finding that I'm reacting to the overspin faster and responding to it. And it seems more even. So I'm excited. I'm gonna actually pull this bobbin off, spin this onto a second bobbin, and then ply the two together to see what happens with the colorway. This came out of a mixed bag from Sweet Georgia Fiber. And I just kind of want to I'm not sure if I'm quite understanding yet how the color works. But I think I'm just gonna spin half onto one bobbin, spin the other half onto the other bobbin, and then ply them together and see what happens with that. So I'm really proud of this. And that was my got home from the Fiber Festival and got to it. I also got, and I will put the vendor names in the description. This is from the Woolen Rabbit, and this is BFL. So, oh no, this is Merino Roving. But I love these earthy tones that are a little more muted, and I'm really excited to see how this spins up. I know I hear people talk about fractal spinning and this and that. I don't know. I'm just going to spin it and try to make it consistent and beautiful and not overspun. But it's so soft. It's so soft. So yeah, this was my vote of confidence for myself that it is worthwhile to have beautiful materials to work with. So I also got, this was Pinestar Studio out of Maine. And this is a kit for a shawl that just looked like it would be really nice, kind of mindless knitting. It is the Lefty scarf, so I'll also link that down below. But hand-dyed, beautiful, love. I can't resist some good hand-dye. All right, my Toil and Trouble. So, okay. I love this colorway. I have this colorway, and I had actually gotten 2 skeins to remake this top. This top got a giant snag, and I don't think you can actually see it from far away, but it's right across here. Here, hopefully I'm not flashing the entire internet, but it's a significant snag. I'm very sad about it. I really want to make more of these tops just because they're super wearable. And right now, one of the skeins of this is in a shawl that I'm not sure I'm going to finish. I don't think I love it enough, so I think I want to repurpose that yarn and bring that skein back so that I can do one of these tops. So Toil and Trouble just came out with this new base called Wisp, and this is a Surrey alpaca mulberry silk. It is, I can't read how many yards. 328 yards to 100 grams. And so I'm going to do Love Note, that sweater, which I believe is a Tin Can Knits design, where you hold these two together, and it's like a really beautiful lace yoke. And I think I'm going to do the cropped 3/4 length sleeve top. So I really wanted to explore this new base that I saw them kind of putting little teasers out for, and then they had that colorway, so that was the bomb. And then my niece, it is her birthday today, happy birthday. So I got from Sassy Black Yarns, they are out of Connecticut, this baby alpaca worsted. The colorway is Jamberry. And my little niece, being the youngest of like a whole series of skiing family, she has a lot of gender neutral ski clothes. And she was pretty upset that she didn't have any pink princess, which hurts my heart, but hey, I'm wearing pink and I'm certainly not a princess. I'm more of like a swamp witch. But I bought this skein of yarn, started it Saturday night, and cast off, washed, got it on the blocking mats at 2 a.m. this morning. I'm fine. The things we do, because we are going to my brother's house for dinner to celebrate my niece, and I'm really hoping that this will be dry by then. I have it sitting in front of a fan when it's not being shown to you. This was the Just Knit for Mino pattern. It is a fundraising pattern, which was put out several years ago. I was literally just looking for like the easiest. I know I probably could have figured this out myself, but I'm still working on it, okay? But yeah, worsted weight, knit up super quick. This baby alpaca is so soft and so delightful, and I love this colorway so much. It knit up so beautiful. I think you can see in that picture, like it looks different knit up than it was in the skein, and I love both. So that is the haul. So like my video just froze and glitched out, weird. Overall, I really enjoyed the whole experience. I am curious about how a larger fiber festival will feel, being that I get a little bit overwhelmed in crowds. I definitely don't love being in a big crowd. And I also am glad that I get to experience Boston Fiber Festival before even thinking about traveling to something farther away and investing in that. So I will say Bella and I both kind of looked at each other at one point as we were sitting in the shade working on crafting and chatting, and just looked at each other and said, Mom would have loved this. And God, that's like life after loss, is just, it's always that moment of my person. I want my person to be here. They're not here. And that's so hard. But learning something new is honoring her. Knocking off the goals that I'm setting for myself, like using the wheel was a goal that I set at the beginning of this year, and here we are. And I guess that's like, it is literally all you can do. There, so many unanswerable questions when you lose someone who defines your life, regardless of whether it was expected, whether it felt like it was an appropriate age to die. I think we all want those connections to be forever, and they can't be. And that's really hard. So yeah, I definitely have been having like some up and down grief, like sneak attacks, where even though it's farther away and like I'm technically early grief can last up to 3 years. I definitely still get so surprised when I hit that pain button, and it's like the night that it happened, you know? It's so, and then the largeness that is my life continues on, and you get drug along with it. But yeah, it's so, Anyway, I keep thinking about, like, do I want to be splitting off and only having like grief podcasts and then having knitting updates? But honestly, like, in the same way that knitting is just part of my life, grief is just part of my life. And so I don't really feel like it can easily be separated and extracted out into components, because I feel like that would be an inauthentic presentation. Like, I don't think that I could give you a Fiber Festival recap without touching on that everything that I do that has anything to do with fiber arts, my mom is there. It just is. So yeah, I want you all to be very, very proud of me, because I'm starting another project. I swatched, and I didn't just swatch and then carry on. I swatched in one needle size and saw that it was likely not going to be the right fabric, and then changed needle sizes. You can see where I made a purl row to differentiate, washed it, and blocked it. Sorry, I had a pop-up. And then I measured it, and indeed I will be getting definitely stitch gauge, and I am darn close. I'm like 2 rows off over 4 inches for the row gauge. So I'm just going to be trying this on. I may actually want to, the pattern is the Turnstone tank, which is in testing by Windwood Farm Knits, Lacey Williamson. My Tanager tank is her pattern. This is Juniper Moon Summer Solstice, which is a linen, back to the glasses. So 48% linen, 24% cotton, 24% viscose, which is like a bamboo derivative, and 4% polyester. It's kind of hard to work with, and it definitely makes my hands ache a little bit, particularly on the size 1 needles. This is size 1, this is a US size 2. But it washed up quite soft and nice. And it's not super drapey, but I think that I want this tank to actually have a little bit more structure. It will have 0 ease over the fullest part of my bust, and then there's actually some bust decrease, because at this point in my life, I never used to have a chest whatsoever, and I do now, and I'm learning to knit around that. Weird. So I'm going to, I think, definitely need to do at least 1 or 2 of those bust decreases. And I am almost wondering if I might want to try a bust dart. But again, that's going to be, we're going to try it on and see, just make sure that the armholes don't get super gappy if it's just, because my whole thing is I usually measure my bust up here because I have linebacker shoulders. And if I do my full bust, things don't fit me well here. So I typically go off this measurement. But because this is 0 ease, I'm hoping that doesn't bite me in the rear, because my full bust is slightly larger than that measurement. I don't know. We're going to find out. So I'm working on that. And then I've kind of just put a pin in the socks because I'm interested in other things. I am making very good progress on my Silfurberg tee. I definitely am glad that I just kept going, because you definitely can't see where the flub up was, and I don't think blocking is gonna make it show up worse. But I am about halfway done with the body. I did get one of these little twice sheared sheep hang off your knitting end of row marker measuring tapes, which is kind of useful in my humble estimation. Because it hangs down. So yeah, and I'm at 6-ish inches, and so I'm more than halfway. I've got about 4.5 more inches to knit of the body, and then just a little bit of ribbing, and then just picking up sleeves, a little bit of ribbing, et voila. So I really hope that I should have this done. I kind of want to focus on finishing this because this test ends October 31st. So I'm going to get this cast on, get it to a point where it's mindless knitting, and then this will probably become my travel knitting because this has gotten a bit large for that. And then I think next, I really should probably go through my queue and actively order out projects that I purposefully have yarn for. So like I have this Toil and Trouble for the Love Note. I have a different base that I got to make one of Caitlin Hunter's Miserina tanks. I have yarn for, I think it's called a Zweif? Zwoof? It's a really beautiful, it's a really beautiful sweater by Caitlin Hunter that has like this lace panel up here, and then like you can do a contrast and color up here. It's very pretty. I have yarn for it. Maybe I can find a picture of that and put that up here. So yeah, I definitely have in the past year purchased some yarn for projects. And I think, I think my next kind of plan of attack is going to be to start knitting through that stash. And I mean, we are more than halfway through the year. We are almost in quarter 3. And I a little bit want to be reflecting on what I've learned from my tracking and start to really think about my 2026 crafting. Like, I am totally digging spinning. I want to include that in my life. To figure out what I'm going to do with this. I'm actually thinking a little bit of weaving with this and making a little mat to put my wheel on. We'll see. Because I'm not sure, it's really not knittable. But that's fine. So yeah, like starting to kind of look forward towards the new year to, oh my God, we're almost in quarter 4. I'm shook. I just did quick math. We're in quarter 3. Holy Jesus and Mary. Wow. Okay. So the year's going way faster. The year is accelerating. And so I really want to start thinking about, do I want to have 2026 be a stash down year? Do I want to not really worry about that so much? What do I want to learn next year? Like, is next year going to be the year that I actually learn how to sew some stuff to go with my knitted garments? Or is next year going to be the year that I really kind of buckle down and start trying to decipher mom's patterns? I think once I'm done with my degree, that could be a good like latter half of 2026. I definitely don't feel like I have the bandwidth to do that right now because my brain is full of schoolwork. So yeah. And then the other thing, I have many nieces and nephews, but not all of them live locally. Many, I have 7. And I did Charlie's pillow for his birthday this year. Maddie is going to get a hat. The middle child of that bunch of niblets, his birthday is in 2 weeks. So I might either make him little mittens or fingerless mitts or something handmade so that all 3 of them have something handmade. And then I am wondering about if it is feasible going into my internship to try to make a goal to do hand knits for the other batch of niblets that live farther away, or if that is something that we do next year. I feel a little, it's just hard because I could take measurements of my niece fuse that live here. And it's easier to knit like that. But I could also just make, I think that the younger 2 would probably appreciate the hand knit rat. And maybe that's what I do with my terrible hand spun, is make some ugly ass rats. But yeah, so I'm thinking on that. The older two, I'm not sure that they would appreciate that. They are younger teenagers. So if you have good gift pattern recommendations for younger teens, like 13, 14, I am all ears. And as we kind of head towards wrapping up, I would love to hear, if you've been to a fiber festival, what is your favorite? If you are not a big fiber festival person, please give me your input. I want to know. And here's another question. I know that most people listening don't actually know me. One of the vendors threw out a really interesting proposition about the potential of doing like a grief crafting group or like a knitting through grief type thing locally. And if you are local to the north of Boston area and you are a grieving person, how would you feel about that? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of chewing on it to think about like, what would that look like and how would that be? Because I think part of my impetus for starting this was that I got to that point where I felt like the people in person in my life didn't necessarily want to listen to me yap about my mom. And so that's where the internet is an amazing place to be able to yap, and people who want to hear you yap will find you. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. As always, if you are grieving, I hope that the memories of your person is a tender balm on your heart. And if it is a more complicated relationship, I hope that you can find peace in your grief. And to find that companionship in your grief. There is one particular family that is grieving so hard right now, a loss that I have not experienced, and so I cannot do anything but witness their pain. But if anyone associated with them is listening, I am wishing them so much love, and that I am just here with you. If you are in a grieving season, I'm with you. So I am going to get this edited because this one will actually need some editing. And then I really hope that I can go back to just doing gab and post episodes moving forward. But as always, I wish you so much love. Thank you so much for listening. Got to do the YouTube things, like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.